Abbot Valentin, or Vasily Ivanovich Kulikov, was born in 1879 in the village of Nashakina of Kirsanova County of Tambov province to a peasant's family. It is known that at least there was one more son in their family. They had a house with a yard, a barn, a cow, a horse, 3 sheep, and some cattle. Vasily Ivanovich got primary education at a parish school. According to the materials of the archive investigation case, nearly 1899, after the death of his parents, Vasily Kulikov was accepted as an obedient to the monastery of the Transfiguration of Christ of the town of Saratov. On the 21st of August 1909, Vasily Ivanovich was accepted to Alexander Svirsky Monastery of the Life-Giving Trinity in Donetsk province, while already on the 10th of November the same year he was listed as an obedient. On the 15th of April the following year, novice Vasily Kulikov took monastic vows with name Valentin, and on the 15th of July the same year was ordained a hierodeacon. According to the service record of the brethren, Father Valentin served both during the liturgies and in the choir. On the 1st of August 1910, the clergyman was sent to the town church of the monastery in the town of Petrograd, where he served for the next 4 years at the church of Saint Alexander Nevsky. On the 21st of February 1913, hierodeacon Valentin Kulikov was awarded with a bronze medal and a memorial sign in honor of the 300th anniversary of the reign of Romanov House. On the 29th of September 1914, Father Valentin was sent back from the town church to the monastery. On the 2nd of March 1915, hierodeacon Valentin Kulikov was accepted to the brethren of Andronikov Monastery of the Savior in Moscow. As a superior of the monastery, Bishop Vladimir Sokolovsky pointed out, Father Valentin was able to lead a kind life of a monk. These words pathetically passed through the whole life of the clergyman. Revolutionary events dramatically changed life in Russia. By the beginning of 1918, in Andronikov Monastery of the Savior lived 17 monks and an obedient. On the 12th of October 1918, by Moscow Diocese, hierodeacon of Andronikov Monastery of the Savior Valentin was granted a leave to Tambov province for 1 year. Upon his return, Father Valentin was appointed a deacon to the Church of St. Marys, Adrian and Natalia in Moscow. By that time, Andronikov Monastery of the Savior was closed by Soviet authorities. The territory of the monastery was occupied by the All-Russian Extraordinary Commission that made the devastated and profiled monastery one of the first concentration camps for political opponents. The expelled monks had to roam searching for a place to serve and to earn money. In 1920, hierodeacon Valentin Kulikov was ordained a hieromonk, being appointed as a caretaker priest to the Church of the Icon of Our Lady of Kazan in the village of Parechia of Ruza County of Moscow province. On the 20th of July the same year, by the resolution of Bishop Kerman, hieromonk Valentin was appointed to bear pastoral duties at the Church of Saint Apostles Peter and Paul in the village of Petrovskaya of Ruza County, under the guidance of local priest Father Delektorsky. Hieromonk Valentin served at the Church of Saint Apostles Peter and Paul for a short time, and in 1921 or 1922 was appointed to the Church of Saint Nicholas the Miracle Maker in the village of Nikolskaya Dolgorukova of Ruza County of Moscow province. According to the lists of clergymen of Mozhaisko-Vika district in 1923-1925, the clergyman was mentioned as the prior of the church. Here, hieromonk Valentin served until the middle of 1930s. According to the materials of the archive investigation case, from 1924 or 1925, the clergyman had a cow that later was probably confiscated, in addition to the deprivation of voting rights. Along with Father Valentin, his cousin Serafima Sergeyevna Smirnova also came to Nikolskaya. She was called a cohabitant or a wife in the interrogation records of mudslingers, but according to the arrested clergyman and his questionnaire, Serafima Smirnova lived on dependence on him. After the private petition of Bishop Innocent by Christmas of 1928, hieromonk Valentin Kulikov was awarded with a Golden Pectoral Cross. By 1935, hieromonk Valentin was ordained an abbot. It is known that Father Valentin served public prayers and organized cross processions in nearby villages without any permission or village council. That was the reason of his arrest in 1933, when the clergyman was imprisoned for 20 days, and in 1934, when he was released a day later. On the 20th of May 1935, the chairman of Nikolskoye village council denounced to a local NKVD department, pointing out that during the revision of property of the Church of St. Nicholas, Pope Valentin raised the alarm in the villages, while his cohabitants through her messages warned people that the church was about to be closed. As a result, during the revision, at least 50 or 60 people from nearby villages gathered and broke in the church, being very het up. In connection with this, the chairman of the village council asked the NKVD department to find out the reasons of the accident, as well as to expel cohabitant Serafima along with Pope Valentin, adding that those days people were seriously preparing for the holiday of Saint Nicholas, that would be on the 22nd of May, so measures should be taken, otherwise on the 22nd of May there would be a service. It was natural that the denounce led to the measures. After questioning witnesses on the 27th of June 1935, the officer of the 2nd Department of the Main Department of the NKVD of Moscow region ordered to have law on Abbot Valentin, according to the 58th article, paragraphs 10 and 11 of the Criminal Code of Russia. According to the application of a measure of restraint, the clergyman was proved to be guilty in active provocative anti-Soviet agitation among the population aimed at a disruption of collective farms, declaring, "Soviet authorities are the persecution of Christ, while collective farms are alien for the Church of God." Also, he gossiped about the soon war and the fall of Soviet regime, declaring, "Soon there will be a war, as Soviet regime is groggy. It will fall and the Tsar will reign. There will be no collective farms, and everyone will cede his own land." On the 2nd of July 1935, listed as a priest of St. Nicholas Church, Abbot Valentin Kulikov was arrested by the NKVD department of Ruza district of Moscow region, along with a group of peasants. 8 people from the age of 25 to the age of 72 were involved in the case, being arrested between the 29th of June and the 2nd of July, and accused in counter-revolutionary agitation and threat to kolkhoz activists. After the arrest, Father Valentin, the sexton of the Church of St. Nicholas, Vasily Lobkovsky, as well as peasants Matrona Fedulova, Nikolai Yemshikov, and Nikolai Vinogradov, were imprisoned in Mozhaisk, while Efrosina Danilova, Ivan Orlov, and Alexei Gusev were on their own recognizance. At the time of the arrest, the clergymen had no property. The indicted were accused in anti-Soviet agitation among the individual peasants against entering a kolkhoz, threatening people with provocative gossips about the soon fall of the Soviet authorities, using religious superstitions. According to the materials of the archive investigation case, Abbot Valentin also said, "There are very few people in the church. The faithful stopped going to church at all." In the indictment it was pointed out that Abbot Valentin Kulikov was also accused in having an anti-Soviet point of view. He agitated in the anti-Soviet way against kolkhoz building, organizing the disruption of the elections of the candidates from the village active to the Supreme Soviet in 1934, totally ignoring his duties before the state, by his actions corrupting individual peasants. During the interrogations, the clergyman did not plead guilty, but his guilt was proved by the words of the witnesses during the confrontation. On the 19th of September 1935, after reviewing the case number 6315, the acting deputy of Moscow Regional Prosecutor decided that the guilt of the accused was proved according to the 58th article, paragraph 10. On the 26th of December 1935, according to the 58th article, paragraph 10, part 1 of the Criminal Code of Russia, the special colleague of Moscow Regional Court sentenced the 56-year-old Abbot Valentin Kulikov to 5 years of labor camps. On the 17th of March the following year, by the Special Committee of the Supreme Court of the USSR, the sentence was affirmed. The further fate of Abbot Valentin Kulikov is still unknown.